softball pool play on day one of the 2024 MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament in the softball pool. It's Gary, RBI, out of Gary, Indiana, against the host team, the Cubs. The leadoff hitter for Gary is Egan. 2-1, the count on her. Starting pitcher for the Cubs is Rodriguez. This one popped way up. Back to make a play for it was Contreras. She grabs it right at the fence for an easy out to kick off this one.
And once again, that's another time we've seen that today. Catcher turning around, have to make a play there on it, an opportunity to, and you need to get those outs when you can, and those go a long way. So a good start here for the Cubs on the defensive side.
Yeah, when those are popped way up, like we said last time, it can be easy to kind of let them go if you think they're going to draw behind the fence, but you got to stay with it. And the two times we've seen it today, the catcher has been able to make the play. So yes, like you said, good defensive start here for this Cubs RBI program. This is their first game they're playing today. It's Gary's second. Earlier today, they played Indianapolis through 7 innings. They took them down 6-1. Following this game, the Cubs take on the White Sox program.
Interesting to see how this Chicago Cubs team comes out today. You know, they have the later slot of games. They're on a back-to-back.
This one's grounded down the third base line. It'll go for a single. Juggling with it was Colasso.
Yeah, but like I talked about, I mean, on a back-to-back, they have that late start, so it's interesting to see how they come out. Are they going to be a little bit sluggish, or are they going to be fresh? Because, you know, waiting all day perhaps can slow you down a little bit, but right now they have a runner to deal with on first.
Yeah, these games when you're playing 2 in a day, you know, there could be an argument made that it's easier to just go 1-2 in a row than have one game, maybe like a 3-4 hour break, and then get out there and try to do it again. At that time, you've had time to relax, and it can be hard to get back in the swing of things, especially with this Cubs team being fresh out the gate. Their first one today. The plate now is green. She decides not to go for that one, and a correct decision there. The count is 2-1 with 1 away. Cerceo's at first. The 2-1 will go for a strike just on the right side of the zone. This is the first time today Green is at the plate. She gets a little bit of this one, rides the first base line, and she'll get there, as having to come up to make the play was Alfaro, and she couldn't get back in time. She was the only one who could have made that play, and it just kind of squeaked up on her. She wasn't able to get back, so advancing to second there is Cerceo. Pinch runner will come in Homer. And this Gary team has a lot of fast runners, as we saw earlier.
Yeah, they certainly do. If they can get on base, they have people that can run the bases. They're very disciplined base running. They have, and also great hitters as well, as somebody we know very familiar with up right now in Savannah Roberts. But this is a team that it's very similar to the White Sox. You know, teams that can get on base but are great base running and have a lot of speed on the edges is really going to be beneficial to the team going forward.
Absolutely, in her spot in this order at 4. Almost every time she's come up to bat, there have been at least 1 or 2 people on base, and she's driven a few runs home. An RBI in that first game.
Yeah, I mean, it'll also be interesting to see if Gary can kind of have a similar success start to the game as they did the first game. Remind you, they had 3 runs in the first, 2 in the second. So looking to implement that here.
She grounds that one to third, an easy play, a double play. And that'll do it for the first inning. That ball popped right to Collazo at third base. Threw it over to first for Alfaro. 2 easy outs. Back for the bottom of the first inning on the mound for Gary is Green. First in the order is Emily Rodriguez for the Cubs. That was a good, quick fastball. She hits it right to the shortstop, and a good play there by ball to Jones for the first out of the inning. Collazo will step up to the plate here as the wind picks up in the Windy City. I guess it probably has that nickname for a reason, huh?
Yeah. Certainly does. Definitely adds another element of being cold. The wind picks up off the lake, and
yeah, we're pretty close to Lake Michigan. On the drive here, we get a nice view of it driving right along.
Long Lakeshore Drive, yeah, beautiful scenery, especially this time of the year in Chicago.
Collazo way up in the count. She'll get 4 straight balls for the walk.
Yeah, as good as a hitter she is, remind you yesterday, another home run derby participant. She hit 1 home run, but a lot of those were right at the track, and she's a great hitter for them. So already in a good spot here. The Cubs coming out strong, especially after that, how Gary played that first game.
It's really cool to see how well Gary performed in that first game, and just through the first 3 outs of this one, and just being a new program as that one finds the gap between 1 and 2 off the bat of Jacinto. She'll advance to first with Collazo at third. Runners at the corners and 1 away.
Be interesting to see how this Cubs team does this weekend. 2-2 last year, able to beat the Tigers in Indy, but they lost to the White Sox and the Guardians. But this is a team that allowed 44 runs, a -10 run differential. So, you know, if this is their opportunity here, they haven't won a regional title yet, a chance to bring it home here in Chicago in front of their home fans. So important for them in a game like this. Gary showing how good they are to get out into an early lead.
Yeah, especially with this being the last year that they're hosting, it would be cool for them, the hometown kids, to win it, make an appearance at that RBI World Series over in Florida. Here's the 1-0 from Green. This one lobbed off the bat over to make the play, and she dropped it.
Yeah,
that was the first baseman, Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Thompson, he said, we're the Cubs charities, but first we're the Chicago Cubs, and we're Chicago. So playing for your city, it's bigger than yourself, and they're looking to do that here in a great city of their own.
Sliding into steal second there was Jacinto. They now have both their runners in scoring position. But yeah, like you said, they're the Chicago Cubs first, and it's got to be really cool for these girls to represent the Chicago Cubs, one of the best and kind of most historically rich and marketable franchises is the word I'm looking for in the MLB. To be able to wear that logo and have this experience has got to be pretty cool for them. It's 1-2 on Alfaro. That pitch is outside. Evens the count. 2 errors for the Cubs defensively in this first inning, and already 1 on Gary. She gets underneath this one, popped right up, and couldn't track it there was Perez. And coming in to score will be Collazo. The throw home, the play will not come in time, and it's Jacinto coming in to score as well. So 2-1. The Cubs take the lead from Gary. Contreras at the plate now, 1-0 on her. She picks that same spot, but a little bit deeper. The right fielder to play it is Cerceo. It'll go for a single for Contreras, so the bats are hot here early for the Cubs.
Yeah, great start from them. And Gary, the way they were pitching in that first game, you felt that they might have had the deepest bullpen in this tournament. But Chicago Cubs, they've had something else to say about that.
Yeah, a deep bullpen that they've gotten to preserve. They stuck with the same pitcher in that first one. This one lobbed all the way out to left center field, and making the catch to end the inning was Villa. She's not in the starting lineup. Villa is not for this Gary batting order, but she was in that last game she played. She was third in the order, had a single and a couple strikeouts. So 2-1 the score here. Cubs over Gary as we head to the bottom of the second. Chavez, the leadoff hitter for Gary in the top of the second here. Yanela Rodriguez on the mound. There's a couple Rodriguez's and a couple Gonzalez's on this Cubs roster. So you have Rodriguez as your pitcher, and then back in center field you have Ashley Rodriguez. This one hit shallow to the second baseman and thrown to first for an easy play. First out of the inning on Chavez.
Yeah, she reached for that and just caught the end of the bat, which didn't allow for a lot of velocity to come off of that bat. So just kind of a shallow ground ball, and Cubs infield has been exceptional too, just not doing anything fancy, doing their job and making sound plays.
Yeah, they're staying really grounded. They're not overthinking things. You could see with some teams today, they're a little bit shaky, kind of fumbling the ball, some miscommunications. They're reading this really well. They look really relaxed, and they're playing well because of it. The 2-0 to Walker. She'll shank this one off the bat. Foul behind her.
Yeah, this is a team last year that, the only team with a 500 record or better, but they had a negative run differential. They're -10 in the run differential, so their losses were really bad, but they had good wins as well. So this is a team that, again, 2-2 last year, looking to build off of that, and right now, already a good start for them.
Yeah, this should be a good game. Gary, nobody really knew what to expect from them. They came out strong out the gate this morning, and this Cubs team, we knew was going to be a pretty strong one as well, as Rodriguez strikes out Walker. Her first strikeout of the day. But this will definitely, I think, be the best, closest game of the day. You have two really strong programs, not a lot separating them, so it'll be really interesting to see who can come away with this one. Should be a good competition. Ball smacks this one. It'll pull just foul into left field.
Yeah, she got all of that one. We've seen a couple of those today where they just pull left of that left field foul line. If those stay fair, those are big opportunities for a team. And I got a feeling we're going to see a couple of those this weekend.
We saw a couple of them just go into that left corner, stay fair in the home run derby. Ball smacks this one. It gets to the shortstop. The 6-3 play to end the inning. Ground out for Ball. Score remains 2-0 in favor of the Cubs here on the Windy City Sports Network. Bottom of the second here. Diaz pops one out to left field. An easy snag there for Melody. This one off the bat of Perez rides that right field line all the way into the outfield, and it'll go for a single.
Cubs have been impressive on both sides, I think. It's been, so far, a complete game for them. Not allowing any hits, and 2 runs already off of 2 hits. They've been good on the offensive side. And placing in those balls in the right directions. You know, you had one just over the first baseman on that right field line, another one through the gap in center field. They've been good.
Yeah, very complete all-around game here, as this one is popped up into right field. There to make the snag is Cerceo. Back through the top of the order, it's Rodriguez. Two away. This one gets hit up, and back to make the play is Jones. She snags that one out of the air to end the inning pretty quickly there. No damage as the score remains 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. They're unable to tack any more on in this second. Gary still hasn't gone through their full order. 8th is Jones. She's at the plate right now, 0-1 the count. Smack this one foul into right field. Here's the 0-2, that one high, and Jones doesn't swing at it, coming back in the count. Swings and misses on that one, though. And Rodriguez gets her swinging. It's her second strikeout of the day.
Tell you, Rodriguez has been great on the pitching side. She's really had a good command, and the way she's been delivering these balls inside that Gary's really had trouble hitting. As good as they were and as fast of a start they had, they've struggled here so far.
Melody fouls that one back. 1-1 with one away. That'll go for a strike right over the plate. She gets a piece of that one, caught in the air by the second baseman, Perez. 2 flyouts here early in the inning.
Yeah, I mean, Gary's making contact with the ball, just not able to see it go down for a base hit. I think the infield has been sound, and I think the infield has really done a good job of not making really any mistakes. That's something we've seen today. A good amount of errors, and that's that's going to happen. But the Cubs really have done well.
Yeah, good in the infield, especially those first and second basemen, Alfaro and Perez. They've been really good at just reading plays. Their athleticism showing today. They're staying very grounded and staying calm, and it's working well for them.
Yeah, that second baseman and shortstop. You talk about just those two alone have been great. Not dropping any balls that come their way.
This one finds a gap, makes it to left field. The ground ball will go for a single for Egan. They're back up to the top of the order now.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the type of hit that they needed to get through this infield. It kind of shot between the gap of the third baseman and the shortstop. Hard bouncer on the ground, and really good hit there from Gary. Maybe this can propel them into a rally.
Yeah, it's interesting that one got through, though, because that's the smallest gap they have on the infield. That gap between their shortstop and second baseman is a pretty wide one. We haven't seen a whole lot sneak through there. They're really, like, sending this Gary program into right field. And like we said, Alfaro and Perez doing a good job over there. But that's the smallest, tightest gap they have there. So that's kind of interesting that one was able to sneak through. One and one on Cerceo. Couple of fouls here. The 1-2, she decides not to swing on it, and it evens the count. That one she gets a good piece of all the way to center field, and getting right underneath it was Rodriguez to make the play. So 3 flyouts to get the outs in this one, and we will head to the bottom of the third. Bottom of the third here, a scoreless inning and a half between Gary and Cubs RBI. Low scoring affair up to this point, 2-0. At the plate now is Collazo. Here's the 1-0 on her. She won't go. Green has been handing her a couple balls here. 3-1 the count now. She takes a whack at this one. Shanks it back. Full count now. 3-2 outside, and it'll open the inning with a walk for Colazzo off Green. That's Green's second walked batter of the day. It's Jacinto now at the plate. That first one outside the zone. Took a swing at that one, fouled back behind the booth. Sounded like it might have rolled off of our ceiling here.
Yeah, I don't know how sturdy it is up here. But
I think a ball could definitely sneak through there if it was hit hard enough.
but certainly a great vantage point and great field as well. Flames field. Obviously, we can't express enough for the backdrop, but just a good venue overall. A lot of people have come and shown support.
Jacinto smacks that one into center field. There to make the snag is Villa. That's her second catch out there of the day.
Yeah, you know, head coach Chris Thompson, couldn't speak enough on Olivia Jacinto. She said she's always positive, always reinforcing teammates and reinforcing positive behavior, and always having somebody like that on your team as positive as she is certainly can spread. And having a great team locker room with people like that go a long way.
Yeah, the people on the team and the leadership of the team can make all the difference in these kind of small tournaments where you're put together as a group that doesn't normally play with each other, and just kind of doing everything you can to make the experience as best as you can and just perform as best as you can as well. And having those positive voices is definitely something that helps that.
Yeah, and they talked about, these girls get to know each other when they're in the hotels, on the bus, and that's really a bonding experience for these girls, and can make lifelong friends. And certainly that is such another aspect and element to this that kind of goes unnoticed at times because you just think of the product on the field, but off the field, these girls really get to know each other, and that's just always great.
Yeah, off the field can just be just as important as on the field, as Alfaro hits that one right to Green. The double play to first is in time, and that will do it for this third inning. Good defense there by Gary to close that out. Top of the fourth, Gary on the offensive side of things. Green, their starting pitcher, up to bat. She singled in the first. They just made their way through the order back in the third. She's third in this lineup. She takes a whack at that one over the head of the shortstop. It'll find a gap in left center field and go for a single. So Green singles again in her second at bat.
Yeah, leadoff single for Green, and that's exactly what you need. Down 2-0 here, still plenty of time left, but you want to start to see the bats go in the direction of you're able to get hits. And now the chance of Anna Roberts, as much of an impact we talked about yesterday with the home run derby, Hasn't had her biggest impact yet. See if we can what she can do here.
Yeah, very nice swing she has. So it'll be cool to see if she can kind of make one of those really big plays off the bat, like she was driving some home runs yesterday. Would love to see one of those. And she pops that one up underneath to read it. Is the shortstop, and she'll make the snag.
Yeah, seeing that pitch come in high, she just swung at her waist, and just got under it. As good as Roberts is at times, you can see that just not fully making contact and swinging through the ball as they show bunt.
Runners now at first and second, the only out of the inning that fly out on Roberts that we just saw. So Chavez gets on base, and here's Walker. Walker, if she could bring one of these girls on base home, would be a good start just to kind of get the offensive push going here. The 1-1 pitch, she smacks this one foul into right field, just off the end of her bat. The 1-2, she delivers that one to the 6-4, and on her way home. And that one will come in to score.
Yeah, I think that was the right play from the shortstop. Looking at second, that was the easy out there, but the problem is they had a runner who had her eyes set on home. They didn't pay attention to her. She just glided on home. That's something that we've seen, a kind of common theme of players thinking the play might be over and the runners just keep running around the base. They have to be smart and be able to make things calm and secure before they can throw it back to the pitcher.
And that's why it's so important to stay calm in these games, because when you have to make those quick decisions of where am I going to throw this ball and what would be the most effective play here, if you're kind of frazzled and all over the place, not thinking straight, it's hard to make those decisions, and sometimes the incorrect one is the one that's made. Statham ball up to bat now. She didn't like that one.
Yeah, that was a great pitch. You could see it right from behind home play here. Had a little bit of curve on it, going from right to left, and just dug in on that low part of the strike zone.
The 1-1, she takes a whack at this one, drives it into left field. She'll go for a single and advance the runner Walker.
Yeah, 2-out single there. How about Gary? Already with a run. Bats starting to flow. They've out-hit Chicago, but just looking to capitalize on that. This is a good sign for them here in the top of the fourth.
It is indeed. 4 singles of the 5 batters that Gary has sent up to the plate in this inning. Now it's Jones. She slices this one back towards us. Rodriguez delivers the pitch. That'll go for strike number 2. That one popped up into foul territory. Running to see if she could make the play again was Contreras. She couldn't get over there in time. So Jones comes back to the plate. That one a little high.
Huge pitch here, 2-2 count. Runners on first and second. You already gave up a run. They're threatening for another. See if they can finish off this inning.
She gets a good piece of that one. Jones does. She lines it to left. And now the bases are loaded. At the bottom of the order, it's Melody. If Melody can drive one in, they can get back up to the top of the order. This could be huge for Gary RBI here in this fourth.
Yeah, slow start. No runs through 3, but here in the top of the fourth, starting to show their depth with the hitting.
A handful of singles loads the bases here. Melody takes a whack at this one. 0-2 with 2 away. We'll see if she can come back in the count here, help her team rally in this fourth inning. That one chopped foul as well. The 0-2 is outside. She's coming back in the count. Takes a swing at this one. It's in the air. Will it find the gap? Diving to try and make the play was Jacinto. Coming in to score here now is Ball. Jones will be in as well. 3 RBI triple off the bat of Melody. 9th in the batting order. And she helps her team have that lead over the Cubs after falling behind early.
Yeah, what a sequence there. Absolutely ripped it into left field. And that left fielder just couldn't get down. And my goodness, Indy is putting up a 4 spot here in the top of the fourth, and they are not done. We talked about the importance of finishing off innings, and the Cubs right now find themselves in a 2-run hole. But they were up 2-0, 2-1 with two outs. And just you need big plays at big moments. That was a timely hit there, and that was huge.
Yeah, and that hit coming where it did, it can really bolster the offense there and give it the kind of push it needs. And that one sent into left field. This time, though, Jacinto does make the catch to end the inning off the bat of Egan. They almost make it all the way through the order. They were 1 away from doing so, but that'll do it for top of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, huge inning from Gary. They put up a 4 spot in the top of this inning. Now batting is Contreras.
Yeah, 4-run inning is exactly what Gary needed, not only to tie this game up, but to take the lead. And we felt, Gary, that they were close. They were getting some hits, just weren't able to drive runs in. But again, we talked about the importance of just timely hits, and certainly was there.
4 balls to kick off this one. Off the arm of Green to Contreras, so she'll walk. That's Green's 3rd walk of today, or of this afternoon, I should say. Here's Diaz. 1-0 the count on her. The 2-0, she lines this one through the infield out to right field. And advancing to second will be Contreras, and Diaz at first with a single.
We've seen teams get up and then they get down and they haven't been able to respond. How can the Cubs respond? Especially that's going to be important. Down 2, lots of softball to be played, but you have to respond at some point. Certainly looking to do that so far with no outs, runners on first and second.
Yeah, Gary responded with the top of this inning. That was incredible. Like you said, a timely hit, timely play to drive in the amount they needed. It's Gonzalez at the plate. She gets a little piece of this one to the shortstop Ball, and she'll hand it off to Jones over at first for the out.
Just looks like some changes within the substitution, and that's another thing as well. You want to play every girl you have on your roster, but you have to also look at where can I utilize their talents best. And that's something the coach is going to have to figure out, and I think they know their team, but there might have not been much time spent together, so just trying to figure out where can I utilize their talents and strengths the best, and get the most out of each player.
Yeah, they had Roberts over at first this morning, and now they have her at third. This one is hit hard into center field. It's Perez making the grab and throwing to third to Roberts. It'll go for a single for Perez there. A good hit on her. Runners at the corners now.
We talk about, obviously teams playing back-to-back, and these games are so close to each other. You have the White Sox here getting ready for their next game and certainly scouting their opponent. That's going to potentially help them out as well. But teams scouting each other's opponents, there's only 5 teams, so these teams are going to get to know each other very well throughout the course of the next couple days.
They certainly are. Bottom of the order here, it's Chloe Gonzalez. The first pitch to her. She doesn't like it. It's a ball. One runner in scoring position. She smacks this one into left field. An easy play to get underneath it, but now she'll have to throw in. Melody will not get it to home in time, and we are tied at 4.
Sac fly RBI, exactly what was needed. And all she needed to do was shove that one in the outfield, and a good tag up there. And we talked about a response. How about the response from the Cubs? 2 runs of their own here in the bottom half of this inning. And we got a tie ball game.
This has been the closest game we've seen all day. Some really good softball as Green delivers the 0-1, makes it 0-2.
Yeah, I think this has been the most even matchup we've seen today. The other matchups just lacked in some areas where other teams had strengths in others, but very even matchup today. It's always great to see.
Back up at the top of the order, it's Rodriguez. A fly out to Jones at first. Last time she was at bat. This one gets past the shortstop, ball out into left center field. They'll hold up the runner at third. Roberts tries to make the play there. Good fielding there in the outfield. So again, runners on the corners. It's Collazo. The 2-0 to her. She takes a swing at it. Chops it foul into the green behind us.
Yeah, Mia Collazo, this is huge here. 2 outs. Yes, it's a tie ball game. But as she chops that one foul, you have a runner on third. Having the lead in comparison to a tie, obviously a big difference. And right now, as this game, bottom of the 4th, as we head closer to the top of the 5th, each run becomes that much more valuable. So we'll see if she can capitalize here.
The 1-2. It's a ball. 2-2 with 2 away. But Rodriguez tried to bring her teammate home there on third. Didn't quite get enough on it. She was going for the sac fly. Getting a lot on it here, though, is Collazo. It goes into left center field. She drives the runner at third home. Diaz will come in to score. They'll regroup here at the mound.
Boy, entertaining game, Cubs. A 3-run inning, and they're not done yet. 12 combined hits, about as even of game. We've seen 6 each. But the errors for the Cubs have been a little bit costly. 4 errors through that, but it doesn't seem like it. These teams are playing a very high level of softball right now. And it's certainly showing.
Jacinto, the first pitch to her. It'll be outside the zone. 1-0 the count. Cubs are almost through their order. Alfaro after Jacinto, and then they'll be right back to Contreras, their leadoff hitter this inning. She pops this one up into the infield, and making the snag there was the shortstop ball to end the inning. the leadoff hitter in the top of the 5th for Gary here. She swings at that one, sends it into center field for a single. Quick start there for her. It's Green, the starting pitcher for Gary, up to the plate now. (5-4) the score in favor of the Cubs. A very back and forth game. Two and 0 the count. Pitch from Rodriguez, popped up there to make the play is Perez. Second baseman gets right underneath it for the first out of the inning. Back to Roberts. The first one on her is a strike. She doesn't swing at it. Ball and a strike now. The 1-1, she takes a slice at this one. It's popped way up, running in to try and make the play, but it'll drop, and it advances Cerceo to second base. Roberts will go for a single as the outfielder couldn't run up quite in time to make the play.
Yeah, the direction of the ball, it just kind of landed in an odd spot. Not really where the second baseman could backtrack to get to it. And then the right fielder just looking up to try to make that play. And that was just kind of a tough spot. Unfortunate for Gary, unlucky for the Cubs.
Chavez, 5th in the order. 2 balls to kick things off for her in the 5th. The 2-0, she doesn't like that one either. A good judgment there not to swing at it. She's way up in the count, 3-0. There's the pitch. That's the first strike of the inning on Chavez. 3-1. Takes a whack at this one, and running over to try and make the play was the outfielder. That's kind of a blind spot for us here. Not sure what happened as she ran all the way over to the fence on the left to try and make the grab.
Yeah, that was Collazo, just tried to get over, and just, that was kind of a tough spot, but fortunate to see that go foul.
So Collazo, the third baseman, making the play. This one shanked way to the left as well. Again, off Chavez. Count now full. The 3-2, she gets a lot on this one as it drops in center field. She'll load the bases for a single. So full count, and Chavez loads the bases. 3 singles here in the top of the 5th for Gary.
Well, how about Gary right now? 1 out. Thompson wants to talk things over with his team. But boy, ever since the top of the 4th, it was, you had 2 runs for the Cubs and then 2 straight innings with no runs. And boy, top of the 4th, that's where the runs have started to pile in for both teams. And right now, Gary, it's just their chance to try to take this back.
They're only a couple runs away from doing so, regaining that lead, only one away, and bases loaded, courtesy of Chavez. Next up in the order is Walker. Walker an RBI in the fourth. First one to her. There's the 1-0. She takes a chop at it. Can't make contact. 1-1 the count now. Pitch off Rodriguez. She lobs this one way up. Running up to make the play again is Perez. She snags it. That's her second snag of the inning. Her second out of the inning off a fly ball. So both outs in this inning so far, courtesy of Perez over there at second base. Good job tracking that one. And we're back to ball in the order. The 1-0 to her. She got a small piece of it. We could hear the bat make a little bit of contact, but not nearly enough for the ball to go anywhere.
It looks like Contreras, the catcher, is shaken up. So she might have got.
She might have got a piece of her with that one.
Yeah. But right now, I mean, as crucial of a position it is for both teams up until this point, the count is 1-1 with 2 outs, bases loaded. This could go one of two ways for the Cubs. They have to be smart here. And if you're Gary, you got to look to get anything on this and try to put yourself in a position to drive in some runs.
Ball singled in the last inning. She'll look to do so again. She was a key part in loading the bases before that 3 RBI triple off of Melody at the very bottom of the order.
Yeah, and for Rodriguez, the pitcher, right now a 3-1 count. You throw one more ball, that's going to bring home a run. You know, I think if you're her, you have to give her something to swing at.
And just hope she misses on it. She won't, though. She sends it into left field, and it's just foul. The count now full. That one was right past the line. If that had been fair, a huge moment for Gary.
Yeah, she held her breath as soon as that ball lifted off her bat. Just thankful to see that go foul. But right now, full count, 2 down, biggest moment of the game. How can the Cubs respond here and step up?
The 3-2 again. She slices it. Foul to the left again.
And Gary just on the verge, and you can feel it too. Her last 2 foul balls have gone on the left side. If she can make contact and stay fair.
Find the sweet spot on that bat. Rodriguez is giving her stuff to swing at. Hopefully she can read this next one for the sake of her team. So 3rd time's a charm for this full count pitch. Rodriguez delivers it. She gets a piece of this one out to center field, but making the snag to end the inning. It's Rodriguez. City Sports Network an ample opportunity in the top of the fifth for Gary to regain their lead. They were once up 4-2, a strong bottom of the fourth for the Cubs to put them up 5-4. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Ball up to bat. Flies it out to center field to end that one.
Yeah, Cowan in for Gary. There's a little personnel change with the pitching. And that is big for her because we knew what she did in that first game. As good as she was with a wild pitch there. But Cowan has been exceptional, and I think they know they need her on the defensive side to put more emphasis on the offense. Look, they're down a run right now, so I like the decision, and we'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, having a good pitcher on the mound can really just bolster your entire team. So having her on there with her 12 strikeouts she had in that first game, the 6-1 victory for Gary over Indy, as she now faces Alfaro. The count is 2-2 on her. The 2-2 gets a piece of it. Alfaro does. It drops in right field. That'll go for a single. Good way to open the inning. They're going to try and tack on some insurance runs, hopefully extend their lead for the Cubs. It's Contreras at the plate now. She was flashing the bunt there, but it was way high, so she was unable to do so. Cowan delivers the pitch. She does bunt this one right in front of us. Almost kind of went through one of these open windows in the broadcast booth. We would have had to send it back, though.
Yeah. I feel like we'll have a couple of those scares. We've already had a couple scares. It's just the nature of the game, and just the way sometimes the balls fly off the bats.
The 0-2.
Yeah, they call that a strikeout.
And that'll do it for Contreras. Cowan, her first strikeout of this one, her 13th of the day.
Yeah, she's been by far the most impressive pitcher we have seen. And she's just been consistent as well, able to find the zones, paint the edges, and it certainly paid off.
It's interesting, too, in the first game, her catcher was her sister, the other Cowan on this Gary squad, and now Chavez, the one at home plate. Diaz, her second at-bat of the day. That one's a ball. Alfaro still hanging out over there at first after her leadoff single here in the bottom of the fifth, the 1-0. She doesn't like that one. A good judgment there. It'll go for the second ball. The 2-0, that one will go for a strike. She doesn't swing at it. That one way high. And the wild pitch stealing second is Alfaro. Puts herself in scoring position with one away. 3-1 is the count on Diaz. Here's the pitch. It's outside. And she'll reach the base on balls. So Cowan's outing in this one, a strike and then a walk. Here's Gonzalez, still one away. That one way inside and low. That one, she gets a little piece of it. Goes back towards the fence to even the count. Cowan delivers the pitch, 2-1. That one inside again.
3 balls and a strike here, and right now, already runners on first and second. You know, you don't want to let this game, and you can't say obviously out of reach. It's a one run game, but you don't want them to build on their lead.
You don't want to let them do that, no, and she'll foul it again.
And especially the way Gary's been hitting too, because on offense they have been so good with 9 hits, and you'd hate to see a game as good as you've been on offense. You just haven't. You've been as bad on defense, but you know there's just been the Cubs have been hitting well. You know they've had some great hits and great RBIs, runs driven in.
They've been really good on both sides of the ball. The full count. And Cowan gets Gonzalez.
You know, Chris Thompson said, you know, his measurements for success for his team, he said at the end of every game we have 3 metrics. Score first, have the big inning, and win the freebie war. And certainly they've had really 2 good innings, and they scored first. I think for them it's just about can they close out, and long way to go. But the Cubs right now in a 1-run game. We'll see how Gary can either close this inning out and respond.
They had that big inning, too, that you just mentioned. I'd say the bottom of that 4th inning was a pretty good one. They got themselves the lead back, 3 runs there to add on top to their 2 to make it this 5-4 game, and then the scoreless one at the bottom of the 5th here for Gary, and they'll try to do something about it, tack on some more. 0-1 on Perez. Perez has done a good job at second base today as well. Couple of flyouts to her in the top of this inning. Gets a piece of that one, sends it way back. The 1-2, she gets a good piece of this one, sends it into right center. This will drive in a runner home. It's 6-4 now. Perez, the RBI single to bring a runner home.
That was impressive. Needed a big hit. We talk about timely hits right there with 2 outs. Can you come up in the big moment? And certainly does that. They've been placing a lot of balls right in the sweet spot, right in between gaps. Tough for players to make plays on it. And it's paid off for the Cubs.
They're almost back to the top of their order. It's Chloe Gonzalez here at the plate. The 1-0 on her. It'll go for a strike to even the count. A good pitch there. The 1-1 swung at and missed, and I guess that was the 1-2, a little bit of a scoreboard malfunction there, but that'll end the inning. So 3 strikeouts for Abby Cowan, and then 1 walk. An early hit deep into left field for Cowan. She comes into the order. We'll go for a single. We're in the top of the 6th here. It's Melody in the 9th spot. The 1-0 is popped up shallow into the infield, and again, a fly out to Perez.
Yeah, I think a lot of flyouts have happened. People getting under the ball, not driving through it, and just on the way they're swinging the ball. But, you know, those have been easy for players to mess up. A lot of miscommunication.
This one sent up another fly out, this time to right field. It's Gonzalez to make the quick grab.
The Cubs have been the best team that I've seen on the defensive end in terms of not making the simple errors, doing what what is needed. They've been good in the infield. It's a sound performance, but Gary, the bats have been hot with 10 hits.
The first one to Cerceo. Foul to the left. But yeah, like you said, they're just keeping this game really simple, and it's working for them. They're not overthinking anything. 4 errors, but they're ahead by 2. Cerceo gets a good piece of that one, but over to make the play in left field is Jacinto, and that'll end the inning quickly for Gary in the top of the 6th. We'll be back for the bottom of the inning with the Cubs out the plate. top of the order for the bottom of the sixth, it's Rodriguez. The first one delivered to her is a strike. The 0-1, Cowan gets her swinging. She's down 2 early. She doesn't swing at that one. A good read, it's a ball.
Yeah, Cubs, 3 of the 5 innings this game, they've had at least a run, and they've been consistent. 8 hits, and at the right time, I think this performance from them here in the first game, later in the day, they've showed no signs of slowing down. Now the key for them is how can they finish off these next 2 innings.
Yeah, they have to preserve some of that stamina as Rodriguez flies out to right center. Back to make the grab is Cerceo. A good play by her, a good read to get the top batter in the order out. Colazzo now. She'll chop at the first one she sees for a strike. Gets her swinging again. This one way foul to left. The 0-2. They're going to say she didn't swing. She did get a piece of it with her bat, though, but maybe not all the way across the plate.
Yeah, didn't fully commit to it. Just kind of chopped at it, but fortunate there. No balls, ball, and 2 strikes.
The 1-2. This one is whacked. Foul to the left. One away in the bottom of the 6th. Gary down 2. They'll have 3 more outs to get those 2 runs if they can limit the damage. That won't help, though, as Colazzo should get a base hit here, and she does. She'll hold up at first. That finds the gap between 5 and 6, makes it to the outfield, and Melody makes the throw in.
Yeah, you know, with right now, Gary only having 1 more time at bat. If the Cubs can find a run, possibly 2, it's going to be that much harder for Gary to get back into this thing.
This one popped up by Jacinto on the first pitch. She sees it'll be fair, though. Cerceo can't make the play, and then sliding into second. And she'll be...
Yeah, she got her out there. What a play.
Out.
Yes, Cerceo, that ball went down, and yeah, wow.
So no one at second, but now it's Jacinto instead of Colazzo at first. Now it's Alfaro. But yeah, like you said, if Gary can limit the damage here, which they did a good job of doing that there. Another pop-up to right. Cerceo trying to make the play, but calling it and coming back. And that'll end the inning. Gary up to bat now. Top of the 7th, they have 3 outs to try and tie this with 2 runs. I'm sure they would like to get more, though. They're towards the top of the order. It's Green. She's batting 3rd. One and one on her. She'll watch this one go by for a ball. See her coach, or hear her coach rather, telling her to get that back foot down, stay grounded in her stance. Doesn't.
Yeah, Gary right now has to be smart. You can't swing at the wrong pitches. You can't waste strikes because you don't have much room for error right now. Down 2 in the top of the 7th.
The 2-2 over the head of the second baseman, Perez, and that'll go for a base hit for Green. Leadoff base hit. That's what they need to get themselves going in this 7th if they want to rally back.
Yeah, and you talked about the importance of a leadoff base hit, especially now. Right now, you need runs, and now you have the tying run at the plate. No outs with a runner on first. They're in position. What we can't do is waste opportunities.
And it's Roberts who's about to bat here. This would be a great time for her to whip out one of those homers.
Yeah. That is for sure. She's been good for them today, but they are going to need her when she comes up right now. I mean, you look at it, down 6-4, down 2 runs. They've out-hit Chicago. I mean, 11 hits has been spectacular. But right now, this has been about as even of a game we've seen. Chicago's just been a little more consistent throughout the course of this game. But Gary has an opportunity.
Chloe Gonzalez warming up on the mound. It looks like she'll come in to relieve Yaneli Rodriguez. Gonzalez a sac fly RBI in the 4th.
Yeah, the Cubs just warming up a new arm, and right now, again, it's can she close? She's gonna come in, try to close this game out. She's got to get 3 outs. But the Cubs, she's backed by a good defense. In the outfield, they've been great with fly balls, able to make the right throws, and same with the infield as well. But this is a big opportunity for her. Can she deliver?
Yeah, strong defensive performance by the Cubs thus far. So she knows she has some good girls supporting her behind her if she does give one up. But hopefully, if you're the Cubs, she can close this one out, and a pinch runner will come in. It's Walczak for Green. This is the first we've seen of Walczak today. Roberts at the plate. Gonzalez on the mound. The first pitch to her. Little outside.
And the importance for her is not to let the moment get too big for her. Right now, Cubs looking to get their first win, looking to start off on the right foot. But they know the hitters Gary has, so she's got to stay calm, cool, and collected, and be smart with her pitches.
She does. 3 outs is all she needs. Roberts chops at that one. She's swung at the last 2, hasn't gotten a lot on them. They've gone foul, so those are the 2 strikes on the board, 1-2 the count. Gonzalez delivers the pitch. Count is even at 2. This one, a wild pitch. Walczak will be able to get on over to second, puts herself in scoring position. That's not what you want if you're Gonzalez trying to close this one out, and the count is full now.
Yeah, advancing the runners on a pitch like that is something that you can try to minimize.
The full count pitch. This one's lobbed way up high. Back to make the play is Perez. And Roberts flies out for the second time in this game. Perez underneath it making the play. There's now 1 away. They have 2 outs for 2 runs to try and tie this one up. It'll be Chavez next. She has 2 singles. Her last 2 is at bat. She's reached base on a single. The first one to her. Low. She likes that one though. She'll send it into right field. Underneath it to make the snag is Gonzalez.
You know, it seems from the third base coach, you know, she's telling Walczak to, we need to steal, and every time she's looking to go 3. That's something to keep an eye on here, because right now they had an opportunity. Now 2 straight outs. They're desperate for runs, and something like that with a dropped pitch is just not going to do it. That advances the runner, so it'll be important to see.
Yeah, Walczak now at third. Walker can hit a single there, find a gap, put herself in scoring position, and bring Walczak home. Walczak, rather. That would be the ideal situation for Gary right now. Well, I guess the ideal situation would be for her to hit it out of the park. But thinking just from what we've seen today, what the most realistic option could be. Walker watches that one go by for a strike. Gonzalez, the 2-1 pitch. Good read there by Hammer. Hammer has come in for Walker in that 6th spot. So this is Hammer. Fouls that one back. Full count, 2 outs, 1 to end the game for the Cubs, and Gonzalez, the 1 on the mound. The 3-2 lobbed up, trying to make the catch was Gonzalez, but the throw to first will be in time. Gonzalez gets it done. No damage in the final inning, and the Cubs will take their opening matchup against Gary 6-4. So the Cubs are 1-0 in pool play. Gary 1-1 with the loss just now and a win over Indianapolis earlier today.
Yeah, entertaining game, back and forth, as even of a game we've saw so far. The Cubs can't get too high on this one. Good win, but they got to turn around and have the White Sox next. So, but back and forth game, 20 combined hits. Each team had a lead at one point, but hats off to the Cubs, able to finish this off.
Yeah, and now the crosstown rivalry matchup to finish off the day, our 5th and final broadcast on the Windy City Sports Network for day 1 of this Central Regional Softball Tournament. We'll bring it to you in about 45 minutes.